Welcome back, everyone. This will be part 13 here. And when we left off on the end of part 12 there, I was just getting into the window frames unit there. So there it is right here. And so we're going to get to that first. I want to get these knocked out and get them done with. So let's get to it. So I'm happy to report I finally got these window frames and windshield frames complete. They're all TIG welded. Much of them I TIG welded. A little bit of MIG welding on some of these supports, the hinges there, just because a little bit heavier metal and it's a little easier to MIG weld that. But all the joints from tube to tube, it's all thin wall, 3/4 tube. I don't remember exact thickness, but it's thin. So I TIG welded all of those. TIG welded this windshield frame. You can kind of see nice long TIG bead there. Another one. And of course all around here where all this stuff intersects together, that's all TIG welded as well. So happy with all of that turned out. Ground the fronts where the clear polycarbonate will go, so it's nice and smooth. That'll sit nice. So those are all done finally. I've added them to the major pile here of all the finished parts, and now I'm going to come in here and work on some sheet metal stuff here. This is the firewall, and I've got some, this is one of the first pieces of sheet metal I made on the track chair, closing in that firewall, and I've just got some fit and finish stuff that I just want to do on it. Things like this where it's trimmed the corner where some wires and air hoses need to pass through, so that's smooth. And I need to do something different about the fasteners. I did use all self-drilling screws, and they're kind of a one and done kind of thing. When you take a self-drilling screw out, the self-drilling tip tends to wallow the hole back out and get rid of the threads there. So I'm probably gonna, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here yet. So that's one of the things I gotta figure out on this whole assembly. So that's gonna be my next focus here. So let's get to it. All right, so here's what I came up with. Ended up using a number 1024 nut and basically just putting a very light spot of weld on two sides of it. And I did a couple practice ones to make sure I got the heat right, so I didn't blow the nut apart or anything like that. And that seems to work pretty well. Makes a nice clean little unit there. And the reason why I chose a nut rather than say like a plate that I'd have to drill and tap is some of these along here that I still have to do get really close to the bend line there. And I don't have a lot of room to put in maybe a different fastener. So the nut is small. It's pretty quick. I've got a whole stock of them, and just have to have the right level of heat as you weld it in there. It's really fast, so you don't stall and blow that nut up. So now that I've got the method worked out, now it's just a matter of going through and doing all the rest of them. So let's get to it. All right, I got the firewall. I've got all of those fasteners done. So you can kind of see what those look like, and I'm just doing a last check here of the fit. Come around to the front here. So there it is from the front. It attaches up top there, and just checking to make sure everything fits, like around the edge there, coming down here. There's some hoses that will need to pass through there, and that looks good. Wires pass through there. And right there, that's one of the corners I need to trim off yet as I disassemble it. So that all looks good. I'm happy with that. So next up, I'm going to work on these two panels here. This one is just that trim piece there is supports part of the inside cockpit panels there. I need to run a TIG bead along that and then grind it up. And this is a little term panel, and some of these holes here and here, and I think there, all need to have nuts welded on the back side as well, and then the little turn block and those studs need to be removed, so we'll work on that. It should be pretty quick. and then we'll get going on the rest of this stack. Getting that firewall was a major thing. Most of the rest of this is pretty easy. Drilling on some holes, deburring edges, making a few trims here where I've marked. There, that piece says trim those couple of edges. So I think this actual stack, even though it's quite a bit, will actually go pretty quick. So let's get back to doing it here, guys. All right, so as I finish up here, wrap things up here at the shop for this Thanksgiving weekend, right here are all of the sheet metal parts that I've worked through here. These are all the parts for the firewall. Getting all those little weld nuts put in there, as well as cleaning up some of these other pieces of sheet metal. There was some more weld nuts that I put in on those, some TIG welding, general cleanup, particularly on those two panels. Spent a decent amount of time getting that seam all welded and ground, looking smooth. A few more weld nuts. Put in a total of 45 weld nuts here of those little ones. And getting really close here towards the end. So that pallet right there, there's 4 large pieces of sheet metal. They require just a little bit of work as well. I'm out of time here, so I'm going to save that for the next time I'm up here just to finish that up. And there's just a couple pieces here on this easy lock and related there that I've got to disassemble and get ready. But otherwise, I've got a good pile of parts here, and hopefully next time I'm up here, we'll finish off those couple of remaining parts and then start loading all this stuff into the trailer. I got another pallet over here. I had to make a little room over there by the door because we've got about 8+ inches of fresh snow on the ground, and I had to get the snowmobile out to have a little bit of fun here. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, you know. So anyway, I like to have a little fun with snowmobile in between working on this stuff, which is also fun for me. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time, and hope you enjoyed your turkey or whatever you had for Thanksgiving. So catch you guys later. Thanks.